Okay, you're going to think that this is actually a joke, but do you remember that $102 million jewel heist at the Louvre last month? That was one where all the priceless treasures were stolen, and it turned out to be a pretty basic job. Well, this past week, investigators uncovered one of the museum's weakest links, the surveillance system password. Yes, the password on all the cameras. There was no fancy encryption. There were no tripwires. So get what was the reportedly used password that was protecting all these national treasures. I'm going to give you an option. We're going to play a little trivia question here. Was it 123456? Or was the password crepe happens? Or C, Louvre? Or D, Eiffel for that? Like Eiffel Tower, Eiffel for that. Okay, the suspense. Oh la la, you ready? The answer is the Louvre. Oh my gosh, that's right. The literal name of the building was the surveillance password protecting $102 million in jewels. Little fun fact, what do you think is the most commonly used password in the world? It's 123456. And on that happy note, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's the nation's largest, best, most trusted, award-winning show about all things digital. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And my job is to always make sure that you're tech ahead. And you can join us on over 425 top stations from coast to coast. And, of course, streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can also get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search for Komando with a K. And if you're more of a visual person, just a quick reminder that you can head over to youtube.com/Kim Komando. And there you can actually watch 1, 2, 3, all hours of the show. You're just going to love it. And if you do join us on YouTube, huge favor, just drop a comment. Make sure that you hit that subscribe. And if you do like the videos, that'll help the algorithm. So that means more people will actually get to see the show. So give a good thumbs up. And a huge salute goes out to all of our heroes tuning in via the American Forces Network Radio, reaching 375,000 U.S. servicemen and women around the world. And I'd like to thank Consumer Cellular for helping to make this show possible. Are you tempted by those free phones on us offers from the big wireless companies? You know the ones. Get the latest phone on us. It sounds so great. Until you realize that free phone is actually the most expensive kind. You see, here's how the trick works. The big phone companies stretch out the cost of the phone for 3 years, and then you have these monthly credits. But if you ever want to switch carriers, then you're stuck paying the balance. That free phone ends up costing you a lot of freedom and a lot of money. The actual cost could be an extra $1,000 or more over the next 3 years if you do get it from Big Wireless. And that's where Consumer Cellular excels. They don't play those games. What you see is exactly what you pay. No hidden fees. There are no long-term contracts. Now, here's the deal. You have to listen to this. If you're over 50, you can get 2 lines with unlimited talk, text, and data for just $30 for each line, and you'll still get the same reliable coverage as the big guys. So don't fall for that big phone mistake. You're smarter than that. Right now, you also get $25 off when you start by visiting consumercellular.com/Kim. That's consumercellular.com/Kim. And I'd also like to thank ExpressVPN, a longtime sponsor of the show. Every time you go online, internet service providers track your every move. So protect your privacy like I do with ExpressVPN. Get up to 4 extra months at expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. And finally, Carbonite. Wow, this is amazing. If your computer crashed today, what files would you lose? You'd lose all your photos, your documents, your memories. Poof, they're just gone. That's why I use Carbonite. It's my #1 choice for cloud backup. Get 50% off right now when you go to carbonite.com/Kim. That's carbonite.com/Kim. Live a better digital life with Carbonite. Alrighty then, with that all out of the way, let's talk about the 5 big things that are happening in the tech space right now that you need to know to make sure that you are always tech ahead. And we're going to start with #1. You may have seen them, these sleek black cameras mounted on poles right near your neighborhood's entrance. They're called Flock Safety Cameras. Now, what do? They scan every car license plate that passes. They record the car's make, model, and exactly where and when it drove by. Now, these cameras are not installed by the city. They're put up by private groups like homeowners associations, apartments, local businesses. Now, police departments can tap into them during active crimes. And of course, they have done good things like solve murders and find stolen cars. But they do raise some serious red flags. There are documented cases where police and some rogue employees, they use Flock's system to watch people. So how do you see if your neighborhood is actually being watched? Well, there's a special website where you can go to, deflock.me, and you just plug in your zip code and you can see all the Flock cameras around you. Let's go to number 2. We're talking about open AI. Men and women are fueling this AI companion boom. And OpenAI says that they're getting into the erotica business. How much money are we talking about? Big bucks, $120 million, almost up 90%. So OpenAI sees that sex and loneliness sells, and like Meta, Google, or Elon Musk Grok, they definitely want in. So let me tell you the business model. You're ready for this? This sexy avatar lures you in with seductive conversations. Well, hello, handsome. Gosh, you look so beautiful. You're amazing. Then it starts getting hot and heavy. You know what I'm talking about. So then you're like, oh, this is something else. And then they say, oh, if you want me to keep talking, you're going to have to buy more tokens. So you buy more tokens, and of course, you buy more tokens. Now, meanwhile, all these companies are collecting your money. They're also collecting your data, and all that data is for them to sell. And let's talk about on number 3, Kim K. Oh, not me. I'm talking about the other one, Kim Kardashian. The world's most famous student lawyer. It's been a long road for her. She's actually been studying law since 2018. So what's the holdup? She says that she's pointed the finger at ChatGPT. She says she leaned on A for a little bit more help with test questions, but the answers we're spitting out were wrong. And that made her fail her classes. It wasn't because she didn't study. It's because ChatGPT was hallucinating. And speaking of ChatGPT and the law, they say that they're going to be shutting up shop as far as giving us any legal or financial advice or medical advice. But let me tell you something. I've tried. It's still giving legal advice, medical advice, So if they are going to be shutting it down, I haven't seen that happen. Moving on to number 4. The big astrophysicist, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He says he has a change of heart. Take a listen.
Lately, I've been doing calculations, as well as looking back at old NASA footage and raw data from satellites hovering above Earth. And I just can't escape the conclusion that the Earth might actually be flat.
Obviously, a big, fat, deep fake. So Neil deGrasse Tyson had to come out this past week and said, hey, I'm not hawking products, no soft drinks, no sneakers. It doesn't matter out there. If you see me, it's probably a deep fake, pure and simple. I've always wanted to ask this guy something. And if you know him, would you put me in contact with him? Because I always want to ask him, how different would your life have been if your parents named you Mo instead of Neil? Would you still use your full name? Get it like Mo deGrasse? Okay, that would be so funny. Sometimes I crack myself up. Finally, this coming in at number 5. Let's be honest. You're out there on the internet. You see an article and it says you need to pay up to read it. And you're like, I'm smarter than that. I don't need to pay to read an article. I know exactly where to go so I can get that article for free. It turns out about 80% of all Americans are bypassing paywalls. And one of the most popular sites for this paywall skipping is called archive.is. Now, it's been part of a criminal investigation. No word on what the crime is, but the FBI is now attempting to unmask the owner behind archive.is. A subpoena was sent to a popular domain registrar in Canada, It demands that the domain registrar give the FBI the customer's subscriber name, the address, the billing address. Rumor is on the internet that it's probably based outside of Russia. And speaking of not paying for subscriptions, I got to tell you something. Man, I haven't kept up my subscription to the Scrabble Club Yeah, and I really love the Scrabble Club. I do, but I just haven't kept it up. And now they're sending me threatening letters. Ho, ho, ho. I saw a smirk. My job is done, almost. Hey, if you're ever worried about the safety of your home, you need to hear this. Simply Safe is giving my listeners early access to their Black Friday sale. Now, Simply Safe is the only security you should trust to keep your home safe. You know, typical security systems do not prevent someone from entering your home. They just react once somebody's already inside. You see, real security stops a crime before it even starts. That's why over 4 million Americans, including me, trust Simply Safe. Simply Safe takes action before a criminal gets into your home. You know, the moment someone steps onto your property, their AI security cameras identify the threat and alert Simply Safe's live agents. And these agents, let me tell you, they take action immediately, confronting the criminal. And if they need to, they trigger sirens and dispatch the police. I know that firsthand this past week when the cops showed up at my house. And I was like, oh, sorry, it was a false alarm. But, you know, it's so great that they do that. Simply Safe is like having your own personal security guard. And right now, you can take 60% off any new system with early access to Simply Safe's Black Friday sale at simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com for 60% off. There's no safe like Simply Safe. And when the cops showed up, they're like, oh, hi, Kim. And actually, one of the cops said, I love your newsletter. I'm like, thank you so much. And they're like, false alarm. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, listen, coming up, I have some great things to pass along. We're going to talk about how to find some lost medals this Veterans Day. The number one sign that you may be watching AI videos. And let me tell you, it's a shocker. It really is. And there's some new scams, tap to pay, I need to warn you about. You know, I don't mean to scare you. I just want you to be prepared. And of course, we have just the best callers ever here on the Kim Komando Show. Okay, I am so excited to tell each and every one of you this, that starting on November 22nd, I am coming out with Christmas cash. Yes, yay. Okay, what does that mean? Every caller on the Kim Komando Show will receive an Amazon gift card, every single caller, and then you're automatically entered to win the big prize. So how much can you win? Well, every weekend through November 22nd and December 13th, is that if you are a caller on the Kim Komando Show, is that you can win a $100 Amazon gift card, a $250 Amazon gift card, maybe even a $500 Amazon gift card, because we're talking about Christmas cash. And about $20,000 is what I'm going to be giving away in this Christmas cash between those weeks of November 22nd to December 13th. So you might be saying, well, how do I get to be a caller? Well, of course, you go to Komando.com and you fill out that form, Ask Kim. And then in addition to that, if you get the Kim Komando Show newsletter, every single day between November 22nd and December 13th, that weekend, is that somebody's going to be winning a $100 gift card, a $250 gift card, a $500 gift card. So if you don't already get the newsletter called The Current, head over to winfromkim.com. Now, the reason why I'm giving you that is because I'm also giving away an iPhone. Then that contest ends. And so if you enter to win that contest, you also get signed up for the newsletter. See how we do all this double dipping here on the show. So bottom line here, if you're not already getting the newsletter, if you want to enter to win an iPhone valued at $1,000, head over to winfromkim.com. I'll tell you more about the Christmas cash promotions throughout the show this weekend. How about we start with Melanie in Gainesville, Florida. Hi there, Melanie. Welcome aboard. What's going on with you?
Hi, Kim. Thanks for taking my call. Your newsletter is the first thing I read every morning. I love reading it because it helps me start my day on a positive note. And we listen to your podcast every weekend. My daughter recently overheard you and Andrew talking about 6'7", so she totally perked up. And she said, Kim is really interesting. I like her better than Clark Howard.
Oh, good.
So
yes. Although I like Clark, too. Clark's a great guy.
I do, too. I love Clark Howard, actually, too. Yeah. That's where I heard you for the first time, actually.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago almost, our cat, Senorita Floofy Floof, had
Wait,
a
I'm
medical
sorry.
emergency.
Senorita Floofy Floof? Is that it?
Yes, that's her name.
Wait, I kind of feel like left out because I just call my dogs like Bella and Abby. It's not like.
Well, her name was originally Bella, and she was a foster cat that we were trying to foster, but then failed, clearly. So we thought she needed a new, fresh name. So we came up with Senorita Fluffy Fleece because she's really fluffy. So.
Well, she's pretty. I'm looking at a picture of her right now. She is.
Oh, thanks.
So what happened to the Senorita?
So she wasn't really feeling well. I saw her going to litter box a lot, and she just looked like she wasn't doing so hot. So I took her to the emergency vet hospital here in town, and I thought it would be something simple, but it ended up being something really complicated. That she had 2 kidney stones, and then one was blocking her left kidney and is completely blocked, and her right kidney was partially blocked. So they said we could try to medically manage to see if she passed the stone. We did it for a night, and then they said, listen, she's going to have to either have euthanasia or the surgery, and the surgical options were ranging from $7,000 to $11,000. And they asked for payment up front, and so I couldn't make the decision to euthanize her just for, a financial reason, because there's nothing else really wrong with her, and she's my daughter's best friend. And it just seemed like a terrible thing that I didn't know if I could live with it. So we went ahead and had the surgery, and she's really well. She's recovering right now. And so my sister came with the idea to do a GoFundMe. So I put together a GoFundMe. My sister made a flyer based off of the GoFundMe QR code. And then we've been sharing that, we gave it out with our Halloween candy. I've left it in little places here and there, and we gave it away at my daughter's birthday party things. And we've raised a few $100s so far, which is great. But I'm looking for a way to kind of share it on a broader audience, like other avenues of social media, or any other way that this could just kind of get more attention.
Well, I looked at your GoFundMe, and I'm from New Jersey. I have a tendency to be brutally honest. I think it just comes with the territory. When you're a Jersey girl, this is what happens. You need to give it some more beef. You need to give it some more fluff, so to speak. Okay. Is that I would love to see a video of your daughter talking about her relationship with the cat. I would love to hear about how she was a rescue cat and that you took her in, and you just at that whole story that you just told me. I'd love to see that on there, so that this way when people go to it, they feel that emotional connection. Now, the other thing you can do is go on nextdoor.com and ask your neighbors to contribute too and share it. But first you need to fix the GoFundMe, because it's just like, because that's the destination. And that's where you'll also say, every little bit will help, because, we don't have $11,000 to go discretionary income to go save this cat. But we did it because we love Senorita. We love her. I would also go onto Facebook and look at Facebook groups for your community. See if there's any cat groups, because you're what we're doing right now is we're target marketing. Now, the other thing that you can do is offer something in return. That if somebody gives you, say, over $100, right? Maybe you can give them, a card with Fluffy's, with Senorita's picture on it. Maybe you crochet something, just like a little trinket or something that you could give them in return, so that this way they feel like they're part of the entire effort. But I think your first step is to get into the GoFundMe, Melanie, and then to really have that emotion, that clarity, and that urgency, those 3 things, and people will start donating. They really will, especially, cat people. Cat people. They are just like all over anything. Melanie, also thank you for your kind words. Title theft is rising. With a forged signature, crooks can steal your property and your equity fast. Protect yourself with Home Title Lock. Get a free title history report and a 14-day trial at HomeTitleLock.com/Kim. That's HomeTitleLock.com/Kim. Someone becomes a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds. That's bank accounts drained, credit ruined, and lives wrecked. It's awful. I trust NordProtect to scan the dark web and monitor my credit 24/7. They'll alert you fast and cover up to $1 million in identity theft recovery costs. Save up to 71% right now by going to the special address, nordprotect.com/Kim. That's nordprotect.com/Kim. All right, it's Veterans Day this coming week, and just want to give you a reminder that if you have a medal that's been lost, damaged, or even stolen, the U.S. military offers free replacements to help preserve these important symbols of service. What you want to do is visit the National Archives at archives.gov and then search for Veterans Service Records to start the process. That's archives.gov. Once again, archives.gov. And to all the vets out there, we certainly appreciate your service to our country, because I know, America's the greatest place, isn't it? Never, ever, in anywhere else could I have done what I've done with my career here. Doug in California, you're up next. Hi there, Doug.
Hi, Kim. How you doing?
I'm great. What's happening with you?
Well, I listen to your show every week. Joy, our terrier mix, and I go for a walk every weekend, a couple of miles, and listen to your show. So you get 2 miles worth of exercise without leaving your chair. So
I love that. I love that. Thank you. We can always use more steps.
And I love your daily newsletter, but I'm not sure I can afford to keep getting it.
Why?
Well, it's free until you get down to deals of the day.
Oh, yes, the Amazon deals.
and Amazon deals, and then all of a sudden, my basket is full of things I didn't know I needed 5 minutes ago.
See, but they're always curated deals. Let me tell you, Eric on our team, he's the guy who picks all the deals. And he goes through this painstakingly process of making sure that the reviews are not fake, making sure that it's a good quality product. I mean, it's quite the excursion that he goes through for every line item there. But thanks for your kind words.
Well, he does a good job. Good. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who's a government consultant, and he said, "You're not going to believe this," but he said, "We've got spyware on our phones." And he said it's called graphite, which is similar to another product called Pegasus. And he said, this is a kind of spyware. He said, most of the callers that come into your, on your show, basically they get in trouble by either clicking on a link or responding to an unknown text. But these spywares, basically you can get them without doing anything at all.
Yeah, it's zero click. Now, did he find it on his phone?
No, but it was on other employees' phones in his company.
I see.
And so his IT people found it, but again, this supposedly gets past things like Norton and Malwarebytes. So the only way that they could find it is through their IT department. So,
well, yes, it's very difficult, as you might expect. I mean, this is government spyware.
So, and those are two that are known, but I'm guessing that they're not the only players in the game. So I'm sure there are others that are trying to do exactly the same thing.
There's a whole list of them. I don't mean to freak you out, and they are very, very difficult to detect. Now, there's an organization called Amnesty International. And Amnesty International has a forensic tool, and I'm guessing that's probably what this IT department used. And it's called MVT. Everything in the tech world has an acronym. You know this, right? It's like, why do we have to live like this? It's called Mobile Verification Toolkit. And it'll run on a computer, run on your phone, your tablet, and it will try to see if there's something on it. Now, there are some signs that maybe something is on your system. Maybe it starts overheating. You have some unexpected data usage. The device just reboots spontaneously. The battery's draining more than usual, not just because you updated to iOS 26, which for some reason my battery's like tanking. I'm like, what is going on with this? Anyway, and then you might be able to see if it's on your phone or on your tablet. But why would you think it would be on your phone? Or you're just being cautious?
Well, I'm on his contacts list. So if these spywares access everything on your phone, then they've obviously got your contacts. And what's to prevent that from basically now all of a sudden giving me a phone call that I don't answer or a text message I don't respond to, and all of a sudden it's on my phone?
Yeah, I can see that. Now, Joe, just keep in mind that really the only true way to make sure that this is not on your system, I mean, you could use some forensic tools like we just talked about, but is to make sure that you wipe the device and you keep it updated. A lot of these spyware tools, they actually kind of break through, Doug, because the system has not been updated, or the operating system has not been updated, rather. And so, always keep your system updated, look for signs. But I'll tell you, it's really frightening when you truly know what's going on. Sometimes I sit here and I talk to some of my hacker friends, which I do have hacker friends, I know, kind of a strange thing. And I'm like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't just have a phone. Maybe I should just go do one of these burner phones. But then, that's not realistic living in today's world. So what I'll do is in one of our upcoming newsletters, Doug, I'll put a link to that tool so you can check it out yourself. And again, it's from Amnesty International. And thanks for your call and also your kind words. Jane in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi there, Jane.
Hi, Kim. Good to speak with you.
Well, thanks for your call. So what's happening with you? What's on your mind?
Well, first off, thank you for the shout out to veterans. I come from an entirely military family, and so I appreciate that. Anybody that gives a shout out to our vets. But I read your article in Fox recently on AI, and I'll be honest with you, I'm inundated with articles from McKinsey and everybody on AI, but yours kind of stopped me in my tracks. And just to give you a little bit of context, I work with mid-market CEOs to scale their companies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Usually their revenue's good, but they see operational cracks. That's when we get invited and when stuff's breaking. I see a real fear with these guys about leveraging AI to really a competitive advantage. So,
why is that?
Honey, I was hoping you could tell me.
Well, it could be, because I've talked to mid-market CEOs and COOs, and, some of it is fear.
Yep.
And I think some of it is, I might make the wrong decision. I might go down this wrong path.
There you go. Right. So MIT just had a study about enterprise organizations leveraging AI and how little ROI they see out of it.
That's correct.
And my clients can't afford to waste money like that.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of the fear, right?
Yeah, because it does cost money to implement. I mean,
you bet.
Even if you're not going to have your own servers and and your own prompt engineers and AI folks and ethics and all this other stuff, is that it is a commitment moving forward. I can tell you that we have tried to AI me, okay?
Me as well.
And not with much great success. I've had companies pitch me that they would. One company digitized all my about 6-7 months of my shows, and so that this way they said somebody could go on the site or tune in and say, I want to know what Kim thought about Pegasus software, something that we just talked about. And then I would come up and I would say what I said and then add and elaborate with that. But it didn't for me, it didn't have a soul, right?
Yeah, well, it's early on, right?
It is.
But I think that mid-market is at a really interesting inflection point. I think they're so much more agile than enterprise. We can test it cheaper.
Yeah.
And I hate to see them not even take the first bite, right? And so what I see them doing instead is they leverage it for workflows, right? And end up with what I call the Beverly Hillbillies of AI platforms, right? So if you remember that jalopy with all the crap on top of it.
And Granny.
Right? Yeah, and Granny in the front is usually the IT person, right?
Yes.
But none of those things talk to each other. They don't make foundationally strategic changes to the organization. So I get the fear. There's a lot of fear around their people, right? You're going to have to manage people through change because all these folks are afraid that they're going to lose their jobs.
Right.
But my question for you, I guess, just as another person who is probably diving as deep into this as I am, is like, where do you really see mid-market winning? And or where do you repeatedly see them failing, Kim? I'll let you pick.
Winning,
yeah.
I would say customer service, right? social media, documentation, market analysis.
That's the
Inventory control, knowing when to order, not having too many widgets sitting in the background.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of very unsexy industries. I kind of prefer them.
Yeah, and right, but then it also you also have to stretch your imagination. So so let's say you had somebody, and this is a sexy industry. I'm talking about fashion design. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say you are trying to come up with the next Amazon Basics sweater, or whatever it may be. But you want to target the 18 to 21-year-olds. So what you can do is have AI analyze every TikTok video that it can find from 18 to 21-year-olds to see what kind of sweater they may or may not be wearing. So mid-market, what industries, because you say they're not sexy, give me some.
Manufacturing, logistics, anything with flooring, tool belts and steel, toed boots. I just love those people, I guess. So, but I agree with you on inventory. I think it could help with estimating. I had a client make a $2 million estimating mistake.
Ooh.
Totally unnecessary. Yeah.
Wow.
$150 million company. That's a pretty big ouchie.
Yeah.
Estimating is a place. But I think that what I tell them is, and I'd love your point of view on this, I tell them, guys, this is not a tech play.
No.
This is a strategic play.
Yeah. You know what?
It needs to live in the C-suite before it makes it to the tech department.
Because if you're not using AI, your competitors are.
Yep, that's what I tell them. It's the thing that you're going to lose to is your competitor getting ahead of you.
Yes, this is not
just on their workflows.
No,
right?
Exactly. No, you need to be using AI, and you need to have somebody who's an AI champion somewhere among the C-suite, so that this way they can talk that language. So then the question is, well, where do I find these people? Other than somebody who just taught themselves prompts at ChatGPT, right? It's like, and so that's where what's rolling out now across the country is OpenAI, of course, the makers of ChatGPT. They are partnering with certain universities, and to come up with almost like a master's degree in AI. I think
we have that at Georgia Tech.
Beautiful. It's a 1 year.
I think we do.
Yeah, it's a 1 year program, and you. Just as if you were going to be getting your MBA, which seems kind of archaic right now, is that you're going to get a master's in artificial intelligence. And, and if you're sitting there saying, well, I don't have a year, or, I understand that, but they have 5-week classes. They have 8-week classes. They have classes at night during the day, because it's really something that you need to do. And Jane, you're absolutely 100% right. I mean, this is not a tech play, people. This is life. This is strategy. This is getting your company to the next level using artificial intelligence and having these conversations with consultants like Jane, so that this way you know where the heck you're going, and you're not going to be left in the digital dust, because if you're not embracing AI, you will be toast. That's just the way that it is. Jane, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Really interesting conversation for anybody who owns a business of any size. And let's talk about Incogni now, a proud sponsor of the show. Your name, address, and phone number are floating around on the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you never heard of to find. Now, these data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. Now, you cannot stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it, and that's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, let me tell you something, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will work to get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and your personal life. And right now, you can lock in 60% with my exclusive deal by going to privacykim.com. Once again, that's privacykim.com. All right, let's keep the AI intel going. You ever wonder how you can really tell if a video is AI or not, aside from it has that little sore watermark on it? Well, if the video is grainy, if it's shaky, if it looks like it was filmed on a 10-year-old phone camera, that's not by accident. The blur and the pixels are perfect camouflage for AI's mistakes. And that's why a lot of people weren't questioning this gorilla at the San Diego Zoo that was going viral. I know millions and millions of views on this. And so the line between real and fake is getting stickier every single day. All right, stay right where you are. We have more of your phone calls coming up that you just can't afford to miss. Hey, we all can use the extra support to stay energized and sharp, and that's why I love Native Hydrate from Native Path. Save up to 44% plus get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
All right, still to come, some tap-to-pay scams that are spreading, and it's not what you think. It doesn't even happen inside of a retail store. Pretty frightening stuff. Lauren in Washington, D.C. Hi, Lauren. Welcome aboard.
Hi there, Kim. Thanks for taking the call. I wanted to pick your brain about something.
Okay.
You're a smart lady, and I bought a new car. And
what'd you buy?
It's a Ford Explorer 2025. I traded in my 10-year-old 200,000 mile Explorer. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I hung on to it for a long time. But this one's really different, and I'm concerned. It almost drives itself. I'm concerned that it's collecting lots of information about me and my driving habits and maybe other things that my phone connects to without explicit permission. And I'm wondering how I can opt out of whatever I can.
Yeah, that's always the big question, because you're right. Yeah. Cars are roving computers right now. Right?
Yes.
And think of all the electronics that you see. Boy, what a difference. 10 years, I bet, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's like going into a spaceship.
What is the one thing? What is the one thing that has shocked you?
It just about drives itself if I would let it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I get in my car and I feel like that too, because it automatically puts you back in the lane and it slows down and gives you warnings and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, as these
am I really that bad a driver?
As you start looking at this roving computer that you have in the Ford Explorer, it also has an app, right? A lot of the magic happens in the app. And so if you go into, on the sync screen, you go into settings, then you get connectivity and connected vehicle features. That's where you can switch the data to be off. Now, you can also go into the Ford owner portal for the same thing, and you can review some subscriptions there. You can ask the dealer to kind of walk you through this yourself. I had to do that with the car. I bought a used car, and it was still tied to the previous owner. And I couldn't access the phones. I couldn't access the app. I couldn't access the phone's feature. But here, let me tell you something else. This was really wild. So I bought this used car, right? And as the dealer was going through all the features and getting rid of the old guy and putting me on, is that he found a tracker in the OBD port, a cellular tracker that goes down to the foot. And I'm like, wow, isn't that wild? So now I'm like, every advice I'm telling people buy a used car, I'm like, check for a tracker, folks, okay? I mean,
yes.
Really wild. So, but congratulations on the purchase. Look inside the app. And again, it's going to be under share vehicle data under connectivity. Wow. From 200,000 miles, 10 years to a brand new car. That's pretty wild. Lauren, thanks for your call. Coming right back, some tap-to-pay scams here on the Kim Komando Show. Better hires start with smarter insights, and LinkedIn has the strongest hiring data and insights to help you identify the right candidates quickly. Find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. Terms and conditions apply. All right, so let's say you're in a crowded environment. Maybe it's a shopping mall, maybe it's a festival, a concert, or even the airport, and somebody bumps into you. Well, what they could be using is a tap-to-pay scam. You know those NFC readers that you see in retail stores? Well, now the scammers are actually buying them and carrying them around. So they just have to go right by your back pocket and then steal your money from you and your credit card details. So here's what you need to do. Use an RFID blocking card inside your wallet or put one inside your purse. And we've got links to them over at Komando.com. And just a reminder, be sure that you enter to win that brand new iPhone. That contest is ending soon at winfromkim.com.